In this video, I'm going to show you how to use your pushes more effectively. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of endless pushing rallies. This is a dull way of playing table tennis really, in my opinion, and it's not very effective when you play more advanced players. But we all have to push at some point, so when you do push, you want to do something decent with it. Put your opponent under pressure, force them to make a mistake or give you a weaker ball to attack. So let's look at some pushing tactics you can use. So firstly, if your opponent serves short or half long, try pushing back really short. This is also known as a touch shot. So as you can see, I've put some tape on the table, and this is where I'm going to try and get the ball to bounce. So you can see that the ball bounces a couple of times before it goes off the end of the table. That's how short I want the push to be. Now, if your opponent is not expecting a short push, most likely they'll sort of lurch forward in a bit of a panic. Okay? Now if they do that, they'll either make a mistake or they'll give a weak return, which gives you an easier ball to attack, or they'll just leave themselves jammed over the table, and then you put the next ball long, and then they won't be able to recover to play the shot. So from my experience, a really short push can be very, very effective against a player who likes to play back from the table a little bit more, okay? They can often really struggle with those short balls. Option number two is really to do the opposite of a short push. We're going to do a long push instead. We're going to push deep, fast, and with heavy backspin. So you can see I've now moved the tape to the end of the table, and this is now where I'm going to be aiming for. The speed, length, and heavy backspin all combined can be very difficult to deal with. Players who like to topspin, even very good players, can struggle against this type of push. The speed and depth catches them out, and you can force them to play a rush topspin, which can often end up in the net. Even if they do get the topspin attack in, it will usually be weaker and easier to block or counter-attack. The final tactic I'm going to show you is the wide push. So I've now moved the tape to the side of the table, and this time I'm going to try and get a really wide angle with my push. A push aim wide can put your opponent under a lot of pressure. You're going to force your opponent to move to return your push. Now, if your opponent doesn't move very well, they might stretch to reach your push and they're going to make mistakes. If your opponent does move, it's still going to be harder for them to move and attack at the same time, so they again might force them to make a mistake. Or if they do return your push, you've opened up the table, giving you lots of space then to target your next shot. So really, all I have been doing with my pushes is using the full width of the table, doing some short, some long, some wide, to put my opponent under pressure. I've only pushed once in the rally, but the push has been effective. My opponent has either messed up or given me a weak ball so I can start attacking. So the next time you play, think about how you use your pushes. Don't just push repeatedly to the middle of the table. See if you can mess your opponent up by touching short, by pushing deep, or by getting a nice wide angle. I hope you found this video useful. For more table tennis tips, please visit my website www.tabletenniscoach.me.uk.